Hey, how's it going, guys? This is your boy Hayes, and today we're going to be doing two-handed Frost DK versus dual-wield Frost DK, and finding out which one is the better spec, and where which one is better and which one falls short. I'll explain that, and well, let's get down to it. So we gotta go over a few things before we get to the fighting. Now right now, two-handed, why it's better than dual wield. It has higher all-at-once burst, bigger crits, definitely. Alright, it has melee damage, which is better for killing, mages, priests, things that are clothy, less armor, and it just hits them really hard. Now defensive pressure is also a big difference because our damage comes from obliterates and not runic power. Now let's take a look at two-handed in arena and why it's better than dual wield. So as far as damage goes, two-handed, of course you lay out your dots, you throw out your obliterates, you use your frost on proc, your frost strikes, you want to try to use your procs on obliterate for the crits, you have a little downtime, and of course you're back in it. Now, see, remember what I was talking about, here comes the white damage, of course, which is obliterate, it's melee. It still comes up as an ability damage, so it looks yellow. Now, anyway, this is why two-handed is good, as bigger burst. You can throw out two big obliterates or one big obliterate, and it's just damage up front. Now, you'll see why it has more upfront damage and bigger than dual wield in a minute. But you'll see why dual wield has a higher upkeep. Now, defensive pressure, putting on blood presence. This is where it scales better than dual wield when going defensive because frost strikes go up to 40 runic power. They don't cost 25. So we lay it on there and we build up our runic power, and you notice our damage really doesn't change much. I mean, we might lose, two frost strikes, one or two here and there, but it's really not that big of a change to our normal rotation, as where dual wield is going to really change from it. So here we are back at the drawing board looking at dual wield and why it's a little bit better in frost than some things. Now, sustained damage over time, frost is better at that. Magic damage, if you dodge, if they have parry, it doesn't matter. Frost, dual wield, it really goes through because of Howling Blast and Frost Strike. Now, it has harder and better range damage, magic and range damage. It's a good mix for killing things that have, defensives. Now, let's take a look at its actual damage. Here we got dual wield DPS. Alright, apply the dots, of course. Now, start off with Howling Blast. Yada yada yada. Of course you want to start off your melee attack if possible. I didn't do it there to start stacking my Razor Eyes, which you do want to apply. Now you can do it this way. You can hit Frost Strike and you can bounce that off Howling Blast a lot to do this. Or what I like to do personally, I do throw in a couple of obliterates because the way that I play, it actually lets me generate burst quicker. So I do add that in. But I will admit, Howling Blast, Frost Strike is a safer, definite, more sustained way to do it. Now, when applying burst, it does pretty good sustained damage. You have more stuff to do. You can just lay out a lot of Howling Blasts, plus your Frost Strikes for runic dumping is pretty good. Now, where this falls short of dual wield and what makes dual wield a bit better is when you're forced to go defensive. Now, keep in mind, we're still using conversion, so runic power does matter, and a lot of dual wield's damage comes from Frost Strike. So an increasing Frost Strike while in defensive is going to cause 40 runic power each Frost Strike, and that's really going to cut down on a dual wield's damage. In the end, it comes down to which one's going to be the stronger spec, and because of the defensive presence, even with the slight changes on how dots and you gain runic power, two-handed still definitely takes the cake. So go two-handers and big grits.